Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Splinterlands TV. And here, and it's a bit of a hectic day because we had some technical difficulties here on Splinterlands TV. Our former streamer who was looking after Imminent Stream, Max. I'm just now jumping onto the Splinterlands TV Discord now, where they're sharing their screen, and I need to unmute my thing. And let me swap over to Max Macca's screen share so we can see the outcome of their death blow. So you're not seeing my screen now, you're seeing Max's stream through the magic of rebroadcasting. And they're in control, and it looks like I might still be in the running. No, I'm dead. Yes, I can hear you now, Max, but the guys on stream won't be able to hear you because I don't have my desktop audio set up in my OBS. I am indeed dead. So I'm talking to Max, but you guys can't hear him. So that leaves Krakops as the winner of that Possibilis. So Max will be sending you that prize very shortly. Oh, look, they're doing it. They're doing it now. That will be in your collection. I'll turn off that screen share now, Max, because the people trust you now, I guess. No, it's all good. And Max says bye. I'm not sure if his voice is coming through my headphones into my mic, but it might be. I'm going to switch back to my camera here now, and I'm going to jump out of this Discord chat so I don't hear myself in my own ears. And then I'm going to gather my thoughts and think about what it is that I'm going to talk about here on my stream tonight, because I actually made a list of dot points of things that I want to talk about. And yes, the rustling of paper. I have terrible handwriting though, guys. That's what my handwriting looks like. And this is all stuff about Splinterlands. So if you've seen worse handwriting than that, let me know in the chat, especially if you think I should be a doctor or something like that with the quality of handwriting that I've got. But you certainly wouldn't want me to be a surgeon or anything along those lines. So what I wanted to talk about, and I'm just in the process of bringing up the post for this on my monitor, which I will share in just a second. Thank you for the vote of confidence there, NFC First, that my handwriting is better than yours. That fills me with confidence. Excuse me. So what I want to talk about is something called Splinterlands official post. Market listing fees and expiration. So this is indeed what I want to speak to everyone about. So this is not a proposal. This is something that's going to be implemented in the next version rollout of Splinterlands in the weekly maintenance window. Splinterlands team is planning to introduce a 1 DEC or 1 credit fee for all new listings and price updates on the Splinterlands card sales and rental markets, as well as adding a 30-day expiration time to both new and existing listings. That's the TLDR, all in the first sentence. The summary further down is that will help to reduce server load, making Splinterlands leaner and meaner. They won't be sending as much money to server providers for people that list and relist and list and relist rentals every n seconds, which of course creates unnecessary load. Now, I did make a comment on this post, and full transparency, my comment on this is I like this change. It burns DEC for those who are not paying attention, and it allows the programs with Nifty Arcade and other one-on-one agreements between players, card holders, and scholars to continue as they do now. Allow me to elaborate. All new reward cards are soul-bound. Traditionally, the market for 1BCX cards were in legendary or epic cards that were not part of the ghost cards or starter set. This means there will be less of these 1BCX starter set cards thrown into the market by bots and people in the hopes of others trying to fulfill collection power requirements for higher leagues. This change is done in concert with other changes that make the game more efficient for those who are paying attention as new players. Higher R share for cards leveled appropriately to the league. Proposed future SPS staking requirements in lieu of collection power requirements for higher leagues. I want to elaborate on this even further throughout my stream. I think that this change needs to be observed not in isolation, but in concert with other changes that are on the roadmap that everyone knows are coming, along with those that have already been implemented. So that's my statement there, but I do have some points that I wish to discuss. So the first of these, and yes, I have a draft Peak D post here. This is not an isolated change. So I think a lot of people have immediately looked at this and potentially overreacted to say this change is terrible. But they are looking at this change in the funnel that is looking at this change all on its own. So that is my first point and the most important point that I want to make. This is not a change made in isolation of any other change. It's not a change made in a vacuum, right? And this is not me just lecturing everyone. This is a platform for an open discussion here, and I want to hear people's opinions, and I'll read the chat and try to keep up as best as I possibly can. I know we've got 68 people here, but as I said in my response to the Splinterlands post, we have other changes happening at the same time. The first of these changes is that there's going to be additional decks on Nifty Arcade available for new players to access and play the game with. The other change is linked to the second point that I had in my draft Peak Monsters thing here, which were my handwritten notes, but I typed them so I could actually read them. Why do people rent? And importantly, why do people rent 1BCX starter cards? It's for collection power. At least that's, in my mind, what they rent these cards for. Well, these 1BCX cards are hoovered up in order to have enough collection power to advance to the next league or to the next level, and they're not cards that are being used in a productive manner. They're cards that are being used just for the purpose of, hey, I need collection power, I'm going to go hoover up all these 1BCX starter cards at 0.1 DEC. That's what we're doing. So this will cause some of those cards to be combined, I would imagine, and be useful, thus attracting a higher R share when used in battle. The other reason that people rent is, of course, they want to use a really shiny card that they don't want to outlay for, or they want to use a card really in a situational circumstance where they might use that card maybe once every 3 weeks. They see the situation for it, they want to go. The other reason people might rent is for tournaments or brawls. They want to get into a tournament or brawl fray. Okay, that's an interesting point that I had not considered, Diary. That people do not rent 1BCX for CP. Not cost effective, at least it wasn't before, I don't know now. So I am one of these people that has a large collection of 1BCX cards, a lot of which are starter cards. And towards the end of the season in particular, I would see a 1BCX card rented out no matter what. I would have full occupancy on my rentals, even at 0.1 DEC per day. So I would see that happen all the same. There are some that do get rented out more easily, particularly ones that have baseline abilities, but the ones that are starter cards, I would suspect they get rented out just for the collection power. So with reference to those particular cards, it's interesting. And Daru, the point you just raised goes on to my next point, the rental floor. The floor is lava. When Splinterlands first introduced rental stuff, the race to the bottom was obviously going to be immediately on, because at that time there were a massive oversupply of cards relative to the number of players that wanted to rent cards, and that led to an enormous race to the bottom where people would list the cards at 0.01 or 0.1 DC, whatever the floor is. Essentially, a 1 DC fee would either A, raise the rental floor to 1.1 DC per day for the card, or alternatively make some people like me, and I've already done this, I have cancelled each and every single one of my rentals now. And the thing that I'm going to do is, some of you know that I am basically scholaring, if that is a word. Rick on the Mountain is, for all intents and purposes, a scholar of mine. He's got a large collection of my wild cards, and a lot of the cards that were not part of that collection are on the rental market. I've cancelled all of those rentals today. I've transferred all of those cards to my main account in anticipation of the land expansion, because that's another thing that's happening, not within a vacuum, of course. And it's resulted in me combining a whole bunch of cards in order to make them more appealing for scholars and the likes. And there will, of course, be many private agreements between people to rent cards from each other through unofficial means, an unofficial market. So the thing that I'm talking about, Mark, is the post Splinterlands made 18 hours ago, so I guess you could say yesterday, about introducing a market listing fee. Feel free to create a scholar account for you, as long as it's got land on it, right, Daru? As long as it's got one plot of land on there for you. The other thing that we want to talk about is the market cooldown. That's a dot point that I made as well. So this is something that I don't know how to feel about yet. It's not something that I've thought about in incredible depth at this point. But the market cooldown lasting for 30 days means that people are going to either need to be a lot more realistic in their pricing, or it is going to have people list cards. Those cards may or may not sell. Those cards will then decay. Other cards that have been listed for a shorter period of time and maybe priced higher will then be the cheapest, which will then encourage other people to list their cards just above that floor, or perhaps just below that new floor. The other thing that will do is it will bring down the cost of older cards where all the listings are potentially just listings that have been placed on the market ages and ages and ages ago. So I think that will create more volume in the markets. And I said this to a friend that I was discussing this with earlier today. It's always a good time to buy cards, right? But now you've got to consider, is it a good time to sell cards if I have to, risk a single DEC, put that DEC on the table to sort of put the add up? Now we know that a seller pays a 5% fee if they sell a card on the Splinterlands marketplace. But that brings me to my next point. Instead of 1 DEC, what if the fee was set to 20% instead of 5%? The issue with the 5% fee is an issue with the thing we discussed before, the rental floor. So if something is being rented for 0.1 DEC, what is 5% of 0.1 DEC? 0.1 times by 0.05, it is 0.005 DEC, which is absolutely not something that can sustain the computational requirements, I would wager, to run the Splinterlands marketplaces and the protocol that does it. If it was a 20% fee, it'd be 0.02. Sure, that would be a fourfold increase in the fee, but would people prefer that to 1 DEC per listing? It's a question. It's a conversational point. If they came out and said, hey, it's going to be a 20% fee instead of a 5% fee, people would be like, what? But 1 DEC per listing on aggregate across all of the listings, plus that 5%, it makes it a little bit more like a traditional marketplace, or like a traditional transactional system where you would pay a one-off fee plus a percentage to sell. So 1 DEC is an enormous amount. And then the other question that I've got is, well, what other solutions could be developed? And I've got one, but it's a little bit DeFi degenerate level. Just switching back onto my camera to do a bit of a talking head now to some of the points in the thing here. And yeah, Dario, I've seen you chatting about your idea here. The card listing fatigue is what you advocate, increasing cost to list where first would be free, time-based. So if I list a card on the market, it costs me 1 DEC. 30 days later, that card is removed. I want to relist it on the market, it would cost me 1 DEC. If I listed that card on the market, then the next day I relisted it, it would cost me 2 DEC. If I relisted it again, it would cost me 3 DEC, etc., etc. Having like a cooldown on the card listing. I think that would be fairly difficult to implement given the way the current market API works. 0 DEC the first time. The way around that though could potentially be, okay, I'll list it on my account for 0 DEC, then I'll transfer it to another one of my accounts and relist it on another one of my accounts. Yes, that would require quite a bit of Hive resource credits, but you'd have to make sure that was stuff. Yeah, card bound. That's the word I wanted. It would have to be based on that specific card ID. And yes, yes, it can be connected to the card, and that functionality sort of exists now with cooldowns for the way in which people have. So if I use a card and I send it to one of you guys for you to use in a tournament because I've used it in the last 24 or 48 hours, that card would no longer be available for play in ranked or tournaments, right? You could reuse some of that logic, it's fairly modular logic, to see if the card was on the market. So I reckon that code could probably be pulled off of the shelf and adapted with a little bit of work to function on the market, but it would not solve the problem of lots of market transactions being computationally and transactionally expensive. Because the more stuff that the back end does, the more electricity fundamentally it uses, the more CPU cycles it uses, the more it cuts into the scalability of the marketplace solution. Yeah, I also agree with you there, Matrine. It's just like my anticipation as well. If something is listed today at 0.1 DEC, when this new fee comes in, it'll be listed at 1.1 DEC. So fundamentally, it just raises the floor. The difference here is the bots that constantly reprice things on the market, whether that be the rental market or whether that be a other thing, the sales market. So this is going live next week with the end of the season. So the 7th of March, I believe. Yeah, I will pop the link in the chat so it's all clickable. Once again as well, thanks Far5 for linking that through as well. So yeah, but do you guys want to hear my completely degenerate strategy for how we could fix all of these issues? And it would also address something else that's on the team's roadmap. Words. I know words. And in fact, in order to quite literally illustrate my point here, we are doing now officially a MS Paint stream. And that is very, very bright on my face. So let me turn down this light. Unfortunately, I can't turn down my MS Paint canvas. But what I can do is I can change the color of the background of that canvas. Why am I using MS Paint? I should really just be using Photoshop. I have Photoshop. I should be using Photoshop, but I'm going to use MS Paint. There we go. It's a black screen now. All right. So if you recall some of the town halls that we've had in the past, and we've talked about land, we've talked about resources, we've talked about liquidity pools, and all sorts of that stuff. I'm just going to go get my brush and make sure that that is big enough to see. No, we need a thicker brush than that. Let's make it maximum thickness. Paint bucket. I said paint bucket. Oh, I need to change the color again. Paint bucket. Come on. See, I don't know how to use MS Paint, so this is going really well, right? I am using dark mode in MS Paint. I respect your eyeballs. I absolutely respect your eyeballs. All right. Now, is this brush large enough? No. Let's change that size to be thicker again. Is that still retaining that? Okay, that will have to do. Windows 3.1, indeed. So, Debit, I am talking about my completely DeFi degenerate idea of resolving this rental problem that Splinterlands is trying to solve. So, I thought I was getting ready to interrogate myself. Maybe this feels like an interrogation because I'm presenting an idea that sounds like a complete lunacy in my brain. I haven't even thought this out very far, so I'm just going to start. So here we have a box, okay? Inside this box, we are going to draw a line down the middle. On this side of the box, we have the letter M. That's going to stand for monsters. Okay? I've just written mon there. On this side of the box, we have DEC. Hey Maui. And I could probably make this illustration bigger. I should really just open up Photoshop. One moment. I'm going to do that. I'm just going to change back to my camera first, because Photoshop will be a lot more elegant to do this with. And there's some of my photographic work that will load up with Photoshop that is completely not related to Splinterlands, so I can't include that on the stream here. So new file, there we go, custom. Yay, I know all my Photoshop shortcuts. Okay, black background, brush, which will be white. And then my monitor just decided to go, hey, you know what? I'm going to randomly disconnect for a second. Okay, now we have Photoshop. I'm going to redraw, potentially crudely, that box that I had before. So on this side, we have monsters. On this side, we have DEC. And this box represents in its entirety the rental market. Okay. Rental. My graffiti skills are also not that great. So, and that monitor keeps wanting to phase out, but it doesn't look like it's phasing out on stream, which is fine. So what I essentially am proposing is this here is a liquidity pool, except this liquidity pool creates ghost cards from it. So let's say I have 100 BCX of a card and I contribute 100 BCX of a card. Someone else contributes 200 BCX of a card. Someone else contributes 200 BCX of the card. Let's just say that all of these are 250. So there's 4 people contributing BCX into this rental pool. And then over here, renters want some of that BCX, right? So you put DEC into this pool. Based on the amount of DEC you have in this pool, you get X BCX of the monster. So let's say person A has 100 DEC staked in this pool. Person B has 100 DEC staked, right? So let's say there's 8 people over here. There's 400 BCX in the pool. They're staking DEC into here. 400 BCX divided by 8 people. They each get 400 divided by 8, which my maths is not my strongest point, and neither is my art. They each get 50 BCX in return for their DEC staking. The DEC that is staked into that pool comes with a little bit of a nibbler fee. That fee then goes to the people that are contributing the BCX based on their BCX contribution. So you have a liquidity pool that people can stake DEC into. So this DEC is slowly drained and distributed to the monster providers, the delegation providers. And as more people input resources into here, the people who are staking DEC into that monster pool get a card or a token that enables them to use those BCX as a real card in Splinterlands. I don't know if that made sense, but I'm closing Photoshop now and I'm not saving that image. I'm closing Paint also. And I'm going to go back to my head. I'm going to stare at you guys and want to hear your thoughts on my Bob Ross drawing. How would you feel about a liquidity pool for every monster? You put in your 100, 200, however much DEC you want in that pool per day. That DEC, not for a random pool of cards, Daru. You would need to do a lot more development work on this. So there'd be a liquidity pool for every single card. I could submit a 600 BCX card, let's say, and a 200 BCX card into that pool. That would mean there's 800 BCX into that pool. 100 players could come along and stake into that pool with equal amount. They would each get 8 BCX. So players staked into the pool versus cards staked into that pool, which would lead to that. So if people want to stake specific levels, they would need to stake a specific number of DEC in order to get that many BCX. So you'd have an interface which would say there are 1000 BCX of card name in this pool. In order to obtain a level 1 card, you must stake this much DEC for this period of time. It would be fluid, which would make it difficult, so you'd need some solution. Like I said, this is full DeFi degeneracy that I'm trying to get into here with this idea. But it's something unique. It would be super accessible if you were able to go, right, I want these cards, or I'm not using these cards, I'm going to chuck them in this pool. It is extreme DeFi. That's what I'm going for. Hey, Bakoni. Hey, IGN Infliction. And Conkle Barrett, very valid question. How would this also work? What if you wanted to rent for 2 days or 20? These are all the things that I don't have answers to because I'm not a DeFi developer. Like I said, this is full degen mode that I'm going into right now. Complete full degen mode. But it's an interesting way of looking at these things, because if the team want to have resource pools for the resources that land put out, it's going to be not much of a stretch to say, okay, well, if wood and DEC are paired together in a liquidity pool within the game that allows people to trade DEC for wood, what about trading it for cards? What about trading it for rental cards? What about trading it for ghost, and I use the term ghost in quotation marks, ghost cards that are extracted from that pool? You could even build it into the law to say these cards will be locked into this pool for, I don't know, 40 days, or they'll be locked in for a season. And you then bid, another quotation mark, to make an offering to these souls that are locked within these pools in order for you to gain their favor for a period of time, and you get as many BCX as your bid was equal to based on that. You could build some really cool law into something like that, but it would be a lot of programming work. It would be a lot of player administrative work. It'd be a lot of clicky-doey things, which wouldn't really be all that gameplay, right? It would be more along the lines of, man, I can't just go to Peak Monsters and click 3 buttons and get things. Some of us will level up our cards instead of mass listing them, but what about the players who want to rent cards that they need for playing in lower leagues? That is a good question as well, Mark. That is one thing that I've already started to do, is I'm going to level up all of my 1 BCX cards, and anything that is an odd number that can't be rounded to a round level, is that I'll probably either burn or put onto the market those odd numbered cards and make sure that any cards that I'm going to offer up to a scholar or to a potential renter is going to be maxed for the league that they're targeting, because that's what will equal success. And I agree with you as well, Conkle Barrett. I've been playing Splinterlands since 2018. I'm computer savvy. I'm a brainy person, or at least I like to see myself as a brainy person. Just don't watch me play Splinterlands. My opinion of myself and everyone's observations of me would indicate that I'm not a brainy person. Nifty Arcade is a nice middle ground, but it's not as accessible as what can be achieved with an in-game interface. You've got friction there. You have to go to another website, to another place, to another thing. And max, you could even go even more degenerate than having a liquidity pool for each and every monster. You could have a liquidity pool for team compositions, such as the Llama Cron liquidity pool, which would of course be rated by players who would scream out and say, when silver, when silver. I know a few of those. They've been around Splinterlands TV for some time as well. So yeah, it's a thought, the full DeFi degen version of it. And if it can be implemented in the in-game interface, it would be pretty cool, I think. It would be novel, and it would also have a market for each and every card. And those of you who watch my stream know that I don't like to play really conventional teams. I like to try and pull some hidden gems out of the rough and get things to work that probably shouldn't and generally don't. So it would create potential things to someone to go, what? I can get a max level Rusty Android by staking 0.1 DEC in this pool? Awesome. Unleash the Rusty Android. And then everyone would be like, what's happening with this Rusty Android? Where did this come from? And why is someone allowed to have this for 0.1 DEC per day? Then they'd bid for it. And it would create a rising tide for all the boats. Because Rusty Android is a boat. Hidden gems? No, I mean, like, for instance, we'll show some examples later when I start playing games back already. Hidden gems of cards. Yes, because I enjoy playing inconsequential combinations of monsters. But, yes. And it's going to be interesting to see how all of these changes take effect with Rebellion as well. I made my way out of bronze with Rusty Android. I had a Rusty Android once upon a time, but they all got moved on for other cards. But yes, I have quite a few single BCX cards in my collection. If I search for level 1, I have 11,924 level 1 cards, which is a lot of cards. It is an exceptionally large number of cards, and previously I was renting these up until just this morning when I read this post. I was renting all of these cards, but after I read that post, I'm like, cool, I'm out of the rental market now. I was getting about 10,000 DEC per day from my rentals, but with 11,000 level 1 cards, if I type level 2 cards, there's 133 of them. Level 3 cards, there's 367 of those. If I go level 4 cards, it's 128 cards. If I go level 5 cards, it's 19 cards. If I go level 6, it's 105 cards. Level 7, 6. Level 8, 122. Level 9, there's only one card, level 9. Oh, my poor radiated brute. And then level 10 cards, there's 123 of them in my collection. So, yeah, with just single 1BCX cards, someone asked how many of them were in my collection. Well, we would need to subtract this many cards. You guys can't see my screen right now because it's just peak monsters. How long have I been keeping my moustache? Well, that's the only part of my facial hair that I trim, because when it gets into my mouth, when I eat food, it's time to trim the moustache. The beard, however, that's the microphone going in the wrong direction. The beard, however, has been growing for like 6 or 7 years. In fact, I might just leave the microphone there if you guys can still hear me just fine out of the shot. I think the sound levels are still pretty okay there. The number of one BCX cards there. NFT first. Let me go count them really quickly. So we've got that to there. Shift click. 34. So if I bring my calculator back up, now I have to look around my microphone to actually see my monitor, because my microphone is now bang smack in the middle of my monitor. The things I do for you guys. 11,924, take away 34. Not multiply 34. Wow. Take away. No, take away, not multiply. 11,890 one BCX cards in my collection there, NFT first. So that's a large amount. For a breakdown in rarity, common 7.7k, rare 3.6k, epic 489, and legendary 45. So there's some rarity stuff there. But speaking of legendary cards, as we know, it is FOMO Feb, and I have a selection of cards to give away. Yes, Conkle Barrett's on it, FOMO. You guys have listened to me speak now for what, 40 minutes? Rambling like a madman. So I think it's time that you are rewarded for your troubles and your spoils, everybody. So we are going to have a keyword of... what am I going to do? Yeah, let's go and do reward the beard as our keyword. And I'm going to toggle my eligibility to off because I don't want to win. And I don't think I would cosplay as Alric the Stormbringer. I think I would rather have Splinterlands here on my screen. I think I would cosplay as one of two cards. The first option for me cosplaying would be a legendary card. I think I could pull off a Genoshanus. Maybe. Just waiting for that to load. There we go. I think I could pull off a Genoshanus as a cosplay. But I would need to get a little bit more ripped because I am not at all ripped. And also I'd need to have my eyeballs removed. It's a 4K monitor, Debit. No, I do hit the gym. Gotta shave the chest too. Yes, Music Man. I would need to do that. And then, yeah, Fernheart would be the other option. I think I'd probably make a better Fernheart, to be honest. I think this card was in fact just genuinely modeled off of me as a human being. Let's open this image in a new tab. Yeah, I mean, look at this. This is most certainly just an illustration of me. Like right down to the size of the nose and everything. Like I am Fernheart. And he doesn't look as ripped as Oshanus does. So it would be easier for me to pull off, right? It's like looking into a mirror every time I look at Fernheart. I probably need to trim my beard a little bit. No, I just need to make sure it'd be shaped a little bit more. And I need to actually grow my fingernails because my fingernails are not the luscious claws that Fernheart has. Yeah, I need some sticks and some rags and potentially some antlers. And that would be me. No, that's actually just a mirror image of myself. Diamonds, not Damons. It's just what happens when I look in a mirror. That's Fernheart, right? So we're going to draw our winner here now for the first card of our FOMO Feb giveaway. And we have Sayel13 on Twitch, but Sayel25 on Hive. So as is my tradition, we're going to go look at that person's collection of cards before we decide which legendary card is going to go their way. So let's go see what Sayel25 has in their collection. All right. Also, I need to look at what cards were made available for me to give away. So I've got an Isa, a Spirit Hoarder, an Immortalis, and a Carnage Titan. So let's see what's going to fit nicest into their collection. I'm just going to make this a little bit smaller so I can see more cards at once. Let's firstly go look at some summoners. Okay, so they don't have any green summoners other than Obsidian available. I think we may have found our Immortalis. It feels like it fits into the screen. What about their neutral cards? Do they have a Spirit Hoarder already? They've got a Spirit Hoarder already. What about their green Splinter? They've already got an Isa. And what was the other card that was available? Carnage Titan. Did they have any Dragon Summoners? There's a few Dragon Summoners there, but they've got a Carnage Titan, so I guess it's going to have to be Immortalis. Because that is something that is completely missing from their collection. So let me go find that Immortalis now. Summoners that are legendary. Immortalis, and we will send that across. Change the filter to owned. Yeah, good point, Concord Barrett, but I've made the decision, unfortunately, for this particular example, but we'll have a look at that for the next one on this stream. So that is being sent now. That should be in your collection. It's all about strengthening your existing cards. And thank you for being with us here on Splinterlands TV. Immortalis is a great card. Unfortunately, I don't think I could cosplay Immortalis. I mean, I like the barefoot nature. I would love to walk everywhere barefoot. I think that would be the best thing. And I'm pretty sure that I can't yield a lightning bolt in my hand. That would not work very well for me. Probably when I grow older. Yeah, maybe that might happen. I'll grow old and then I might be able to hold a lightning bolt for myself. I am just going to do a thing. Of course it opened on that screen and not this one. And I need to turn Mia into a dog as well. Yes, I would need to turn my cat into a puppy dog, but she's not here on her thing. If you get to know me, diamonds, not daemons, you'll understand that I am indeed a bit of a grandpa myself. I am a very slow-moving, staying at home sort of individual that does very old manish things. It's what I enjoy. It's what I do. So, yes. I did see someone was going to say that we should change the keyword to owned or the filter to owned. But I think you know, Commander Garlic likes to call me Daddy Holozor or Hollow Daddy. I think we should have that be raised one more level to a different keyword. And I think some of you have probably already figured out the keyword. Maybe not. Here's our new keyword. No, Butops. There's our new keyword. I can be Grandpa Hollow. Except maybe I'll get better at this as I get older. Farfai, it's a 0, not an O at the end. Boom burst. That's one of my favorite emotes. That laughing man. It's so good. Alright, it's time to play some battles, but first I want to relive the glories of opening up my last focus rewards, because it's always fun to look at these things. Which video is still hilarious to you? Oh, right, yes, the laughing man with he's just chuckling all the way through the whole thing, and the subtitles always change. Yeah, it's kind of like that clip from Downfall as well. That's all over YouTube with different reactions. So, first one was some Gobson Bombers. Then we got a shaky. We got a Skok Duskblight. Then we got 5 Splinter Shards, 4.5 Bloring Splinter Shards. It's like boring, but bloring. Then we got some Drybone Barbarians, a few Pirewatch Devils, 20 Splinter Shards, 4 of them, a couple of Firecallers, and 33 Splinter Shards. So it was fairly decent stuff there. And if I go in and have a look at the reward cards that are soulbound, oh man, the set filters are up here now, but you can't filter by reward anymore. That makes me sad. That makes me so sad. I wish there was a legacy option to still do that. That's alright. 77 SPS and 1 legendary. Nice, yes. Pretty good for a daily collection of things. Man, I miss those old filters. Now I'm going to have to use peak monsters a lot more. Filter drop down, you say? Click chaos to show the filter. Ah, the subset. Right, gotcha. Thank you. I've not done all that much Splinterlands stuff this week, as my wife had surgery earlier in the week. She's back at home now. She's doing well. But yeah, I'm essentially a week and a half behind all Splinterlands bits and pieces as a result of life. Thank you guys for letting me know about that particular interface feature. But yes, my collection of soulbound reward cards grows. Oh, I had another Skok. That means I might be able to combine them for another level. Yes, I can. Excellent news. Life is what matters until it doesn't. Yeah, all is well at home. Absolutely. I can't level that up. I might be able to level this one up. Let's see. Yes, I can level that one up. It's going to just get all combined. I would like an only owned soulbound. Yeah, me too. That would be wonderful and fantastic. I think that's all I'm going to be able to probably level up, because I don't think I've got any more gold foils. No, I didn't. Okay, well that's fine. Let's see if I can push myself into Champ 2. I don't like my my hopes, because I am extremely cursed when I play on stream. It looks like we're going to be playing against Lux, potentially. Everyone has Amplify. I really wish I had a Mylar in my collection. At least Blue Splinter's not available. Fire could be a threat. What are we going to throw out here, guys? I'm thinking maybe Death Splinter with a Windeku in the front. Could work well. Let's try that. I can't do a search for Windeku in the filters. I've got to do a browser search. Control F, Windeku. There they are. So Lux plus a Windeku, that gives us 4 attack speed. What other thorny people can we bring along? I don't think any of them are going to be particularly great. Is there any magic reflect we can throw out? It's 34 mana. Maybe we go Dark Hawan and we spam some triage. Because we've got at least 2 triage options available. We're pretty stuffed if they bring Affliction. Rooney is a good option as well. I do have that Rooney available to me. I need to use the filter this time. Reflection Shield is what we want. Maybe Kane. No. Rooney can be our secondary backline. We've got 3 mana for 1 last creature. What are we going to do? I am going to throw in poison. Let's see how this goes. Revealer's 4 mana, I think. I don't think they would have keep staying in the patterns. Oh, and then they just go and ruin it all by bringing Scattershot. No, Elevate. I am not actually a granddad. It was just me being ridiculous. I don't even have kids, and I don't want kids. Never have. I don't believe that children should be brought into the world with the world being in its current state, let alone what potential future state the world should be in. Well, Rooney's gone, and guess what? My team is gone also. I always break the patterns, don't I, Max? That's a pretty significant loss to me there. That's all right. I'm used to losing. Exactly, walk the grid. I don't know where she is at the moment. I think she's either hanging out underneath the coffee table or somewhere else. Yes, Modern League right now. Ferocity, Armored Up, Noxious Fumes. Thankfully, Llama Mage is unavailable. So I think we're going to go with Almo and hope that luck can be on our side. Almo with water? Life? Let's go with life. Krallis is a good immunity option as well. Let's go Krallis and Almo because I feel like we've got enough mana and I can be greedy. And Desert Dragon as well. The world has like no end to my greed right now. What other triage can I throw in? Almost just there as like snipe bait, really. We want the snipe to hit him instead of anybody else. We're still probably gonna throw Scale Doctor in. And then there's another immunity that we can bring along through Brightwing. And that's another repair. So we end up with so many repairs. We'll see how this goes. They also have a kitty. Okay, this could be interesting. Did I end up bringing a cleanse? No, I didn't. So that Dr. Blight has the potential to be quite disastrous for us. Desert Dragon is back again. This one's going to be a little long of a battle. Bacteria is such a good card. They are very difficult to take down. That's bad news for Kralis, though. It's really bad news for Kralis. Because that giant killer hurts a great deal. It's just lucky that they don't also have piercing. I like the fact that their Dr. Blight is probably dead next round, though. But having said that, my backline is ready to die if Chaos Dragon just looks at them funnily. I think we might have enough staying power. Maybe not with Renova gone now. Well, maybe. Maybe we can prevail. No, you were meant to hit Almo, Chaos Dragon. That's okay. Chaos Dragon's now gone. Yeah, just when I said staying power, Renova got taken down. So it's Bilka, not Bilka, Bakjira rather, versus the world. But the advantage I have is Elmo has 18 health. And Kralis has immunity. And we're going to do 2 damage. This is going to go all the way down to exhaustion. I think I should win because I had 2 gold foil cards in the match. And, you know, being a semi-productive whale is better than not doing other things. But I think Bakjira is a newer, better version of the gelatinous cube, to be very honest. Yeah, Kralis better win this. The only problem is she doesn't have as much health overall, because fatigue is penetrating through that armor. You don't see Bakjira at all in Wild. That's because people are probably still playing Kraken and Ruler of the Seas and Gelatinous Cube. Really, the only way to kill Bakjira is through Cripple, I think. Man, those are some big fatigue numbers now. Kralis is gone. Yeah. Bakjira prevailed. What was I going to say on the topic of Bakjira? It's the pain. It's the pain. That was a ridiculously long battle. It's good for me because it means my ECR doesn't take as much of a beating if I get to watch really long battles like that. It's also entertaining because you can't really figure out who's going to win until the end. Now we've got 15 mana, and speaking about dear friend Cripple, Cripple is part of this rule set, along with Knockout and no armor, but is there really any stuns available that fit within a 15 mana cap? Yeah, Murdhampy is an absolute beast as well. Alright. I do not dare play Llama plus Healing Machine here. I think we need to prioritize people who run quick. Oh, I do have a Mylor. I forgot. But it's level 3. It's a level 3 Mylor. Which is not conducive for playing in Diamond League. Suicide Death Squad. Yeah, we could do that. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. Where's Martyr Man? There's Martyr Man. I want a thug. G on my keyboard. Can Arachne Thug fit in? Yeah, but not very well. Okay, we get to go to another old favorite then. Deceiver, that guy, and something for 1 mana. Slime Ball. And really hoping that they don't just spam Sneak. Look, I'm not confident about my victory here. Okay. There's our redemption. There's our revive. There's redemption 2.0. Now we need our martyrdom to come alive. Oh, that backfire. That sweet, sweet backfire. That Thorns is going to absolutely destroy me though. Miss. Yes. Alright. Alright. Look at that. That was a bit of an RNG type game, but that came out with a victory, which is what matters. It was a bit topsy-turvy. I could have placed that Muskrat better, but I love that combination of Astral Entity, Deceiver, and Muskrat together. I feel like it works. I don't think I'm going to be able to do it again. It was a good dub. Yeah, the rat just exists to be perished. Oh, 99 mana, but no legendaries allowed. So that makes it a little bit difficult. I'm just pouring myself a drink of water here. Diamonds, not Daemons. The splint stocks. Okay. I guess this is a Merdhampier game. Maybe. Bring along that cripple, try and take down that Bacteria. But doesn't look like that's something that my opponent is interested in playing. What is my focus? Backfire, Return Fire, or Magic Reflect. Maybe that's why the Deceiver worked so well. Kellier with the Taunt backliner? No, I hate Kellier. I don't like playing Kellier. And I like playing Lux even less. I like to make sure that my attacks connect. But we will go water, I think, because double heal on Bacteria is pretty... well, it's just reprehensibly unstoppable. Is Bacteria legendary? I thought they were an epic card. That's fine. Maybe we will be really unconventional then and go with Lobstradamus. And we'll see if we can throw in an Amplify. Camouflaged Amplify with a Cleanse sounds like a good idea to me. No, I wanted a tank heal. Metal Eye Guardian. Now let's go with Tortoise Chief. So got 2 magic, a range. One of them is a snipe, so let's see if we can throw in another snipe as well. Skyclaw sounds like a great idea. That's a hard hitting team. Tridorn goes there. And what else are we going to throw into this team? Yeah, Kelly is nice, but just Kelly is just it feels like a silly thing to play. And in the last second, I finally decided to play Murdhand here. Oh no, my battle button's not there. Let's control F5 the website and hope that the battle button is available. It is. And we didn't spoil the result. Excellent. Now, I was afraid they were going to bring something with force field. Unfortunately, they didn't bring anything with headwinds. If only they brought something with headwinds, would have made my life a lot easier. Because all of this damage is just enormous damage. It's like 5, 5, 5, 5, 5. Sorry, Lobstradamus, you're no good to me. You're dead. Okay. Oh, the dodge. Supreme dodge. Now I'm in more serious trouble. Like the ultimate trouble. Because there's another force field monster. Wonderful news. I'm dead. Let's try again. Game is difficult. Super Sneak, Stampede, Aim True. Okay, so everything's always going to hit. It feels like a game for possibilists and lots of opportunity people. Yes. Every opportunity person that exists. That's quite a few opportunity people. I was going to think about putting Lurker in, then I realized that's a terrible idea. I think Oceanus and the Bear might be cool people to put in the back line, but I'm not sure about Deep Lurker being a great tank. Rooney's going to represent as our tank, maybe. Who has the most health? It's Bakjira, of course. Maybe we throw Wavebrute in as a tank. An anti-taunter, you say? So someone with Giant Killer? That can be arranged. Legionnaire Alvar, maybe? Yeah, that was the only option. Sorry, Rooney. Let's exchange Parasitic Growth for Rooney. Yes. Where's Rooney? Oh, Giant Killer is not what I wanted. I wanted, Fury. What's the name of the girl with Fury? Isn't she the magical one? Yeah, Runemancer Kai might be. You know what? Let's go and be obnoxious and have Rooney as our tank and then Runemancer Kai in second position. Let's see what happens. Although Archimus the Bear was probably a better option as just a frontline tank. Can I readjust my team, please? Oh, that's rough. That's very rough, that Jinchwala. Poor Oceanus. Poor little Oceanus. Everyone's dying. No one's safe. The salty bear's gone. He's back in the salt mines. Vigilator was such a good choice by my opponent. I did not get a single kill. That's alright. I've won one game. That's good. That's an achievement. I don't care if I win or lose. I play because I have fun. Broken Arrows, Little League, Weak Magic. Well, I was immediately going to say it sounds like a job for Murdhampier, but sounds like a job for River Hellendale, but no, also. I think Fire Splinter's got to have to be the way to go here. Let's throw in Tarsa. And is a Heatsmith a good choice? With the Void Armor, Obsidian would be... No, Obsidian would be a terrible choice. I take that back. This is weak magic. So I guess that makes Antoid Platoon really good. Even though they're not really all that useful. I think poisons would be incredibly valuable here. So I'm going to put 3 poisons into my team. Is there any piercing at this low? No, there's no piercing with this low mana. I think maybe a Grenadier? No, can't do Grenadier, broken arrows. Right, okay then. Let's throw in a repair, because we do have a bit of armor. Why is this so difficult to decide? Go for Obsidian and Queen Mycelia? Yeah, that might end up destroying me. I do have that option available to me. Alright, what is 4 mana? I'm just going to select 4 mana at this point. I'm going to throw in the Elven Mystic for the silence. In case they do go Obsidian. No, they did not go Obsidian. And my poison strategy might work. Their rust strategy with the Time Mage is rather effective. Unfortunately, they've got a cleanse. Fortunately, both of my poisons have triggered. Unfortunately, I'm still losing. Where did I get my name from? Originally, it was just hollow, like hologram. And I used to hang around in an IRC channel that was called Zor, Z0R, and we used to play games together and stuff. And we all put Zor at the end of our names. That was before, you know, online games had guild tags and all that sort of stuff. So that is where my name came from. Because I am a super duper old school internet man. Healed out. What doesn't kill you? Equal opportunity. Okay. I don't like this rule set right now. I'm going to try Fire Splinter again, but that opportunity makes it really annoying. Actually, no, it doesn't make it really annoying. It makes it potentially really empowering for me. Tarsa plus Martyr. Oh, do I dare do a double Martyr? I'm going to try. So they've both got 4 health. That means I need to put people into my team that have more than 4 health. And I know of exactly one guy who's got more than 4 health. In fact, he has significantly more than 4 health. I wonder how Martyr would work on Rooney. He's got 5 health. So the goal is to get Rooney martyred up. Then we can martyr up an Antoid platoon, but we want to double that Rooney. Then we need another person with more than 4 health to make sure the opportunity goes into the martyr people, which means I'm deliberately leaving out the 0 mana. Okay. Here's our opportunity the first. Oh, Rooney with 7. Let's go, Rooney. It's not going to be enough, though. Oh, an enraged Rooney with 11, but that armor from the Queen Mycelia just ruined it all. Now, when Rooney comes back, does he stay enraged? Yeah, he did. He stayed enraged and stayed in martyred, but that was an experimental game that destroyed me by magic, which is okay. Everything's a learning experience. It's all about trying to win using unconventional means. Let's try to do that once more. Yes, I am from Australian. Yes, I can't even speak properly. Yeah, I live in Australia, in South Australia, because we tend to name our states very simply. We have South Australia, we have Western Australia, then all the other states are actually named quite illogically. We've got reverse speed and equalizer to play with here. I want to just spam life leech. I really do. Oh, that's a disgusting team. Life leech and Jotun? I don't think there's enough life leech options. Oh, life leech doesn't work with blast anymore. Why does Splinterlands have to go ruin my fun? That was such a fun combination. Life leech working with blast. I want that feature back. Ah, whereabouts are you based, Nashalina? The world is a very small place thanks to aeroplanes. We actually have a monthly Splinterlands meetup. Well, Hive blockchain meetup. In Adelaide, in South Australia, which is actually happening right now. Because it happens on the last Thursday of every month, which means I can never make it in person anymore because I'm here streaming. I should pick my team. I've only been to Sydney twice. I'm going to go Dallin for the cripple, and then I'm just going to throw in everything life leech. Because I like life leech and equalizer. It feels like it gives me an advantage. Dark Hawan can come to the front as well. I like Gawladon. These are all really emotional choices for my team. They're not grounded in logic or facts. Yeah, that feels comfortable there. Meanwhile, they brought Jotun along. Great. Wonderful. I love the giant killer on Jin Inferni. I feel like that's brilliant. Only because it's going to absolutely destroy my friend Dark One. No, didn't even get that far. Oh man, that magic just ripped me to shreds. Oh my god. Jin Inferni's a beast. Absolute beastly monster. Well, we finally notched a kill. And now we're gonna have our team collapse. You know what? I'm done. I'm moving back to Wild League where I can do some stuff. Where I can be a bully. 12 mana, reverse speed, unprotected. Right, Fernheart time. Ranged people. What are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? Maybe it's time for Eyes of the Fanged. Oh, she's got such low health. But it's also reverse speed. Maybe we're just gonna throw in This is like my new favorite card, this Mark's Rat. Absolutely my favorite card. Come to Wild. Yes, I have. Oh, hey, Mia. Hi. Hello. We have a guest, everybody. Hang on. Where is she? There we go. She's come to visit once again. This is now officially a cat stream. Halfling Alchemist. And 3 mana. 3 more mana. You know what? Let's just get Grenadier. Grenadier, you are the one. Let's see how terribly this goes. Can't play a 0 mana creature for some reason. Oh, because I've got the filter on. That would be one. Let's try this. Yeah. And now let's go back to not cute. Okay, at my face. That's an interesting team there, friend. At least my halving's going to work really nicely. Not. Did I failed to bring a cripple along, didn't I? Yeah. That's not the best of things. Oh, how could you miss Grenadier? How could you betray me like that? Because Grenadier with his oh wow, he can't hit. Oh yeah, of course, because it's reverse speed and I'm a dummy. It's just defeat after defeat after defeat. It's all I get. We'll try it once again. Like I swear, this always happens on stream. I just lose forever and consecutively at that. What have we got? We've got Little League. We've got ranged people only. But we've also got Lull, Return Fire. So I guess we need reflection shields? No. Yes. Yes, we do need reflection shields. Or, alternatively, hey kitty, where you going? What's up? Hmm? What do you want? My cat's in front of the chat screen, so I can't read the chat right now. Yeah, say that again. Hmm? Cow? Really? Cats are awesome. What are we going to play? Oh, Life Splinter's not available. That is such a shame. I don't think anyone's got Return Fire. I guess we're going to try the good old Fernheart again. Mark's Rat is just too tempting. They're my new favorite card, I swear. Yes, kitten. Hi. Okay, Grenadier. You. Yeah, all right. Can't play anything 0, so this is not going to end well. Mandarin, really? Their team looks painful. Thoroughly painful. Oh yeah, Return Fire. That's a thing. This game, however, is not the greatest thing I've ever experienced. Ah, it was solely me. Okay, I just give up. I think we need to go back to Bob Ross me now. What do you think? Should we go back to Bob Ross me? No, I think we should go to picking a winner me. Farfai, with your win. Congratulations. All right, let's go examine Farfai's collection. By owned. We're always constantly improving the process here. So owned. Let's bring up my snippety snip. So we've already given away that Immortalis. So we get to cross them out. So put that over here on my other monitor. Okay, let's see. Neutrals. Dude, you've got some awesome cards. You've been lucky on some of these rewards as well. You've already got a level 4 Gobson. I'm jelly. But what I'm looking for is to see if you've already got a Spirit Water. You do. Do you have a Carnage type? You don't have a Carnage type. I think this needs to be addressed. Yeah, I could do like a spinny wheel or whatever. But I don't generally do the spinny wheel. Nah, he doesn't have a Carnage type. And I feel like that's gonna be really nice with the Infiltrator. I'm gonna send that Carnage type, I think. Because the only wheel that I spin on my stream is this one, which I don't even know if it worked. Yeah, it did. See, and that says fire. So that's the thing. Oh yes. Yeah, that wheel. There was no fire there. But no, I'm gonna send you the Carnage time. I think that's the weakness in your collection. And then on Monday's stream, those people coming back on Monday will just get the absolute dregs of the giveaway for the last bits of FOMO-Feb. So let's send that Carnage Titan over. Congratulations. Enjoy. There's one thing that this month has taught me is that Carnage Titan is a really underappreciated card. It's such a good option to use. Okay, that is that done. Now, instead of losing battles after battles after battles after battles, I want to go have a look at my reward cards here, because it's starting to get out of hand, especially now that I've combined my rental account and my main account. I feel like I have way too many cards, and like a lot of people, I'm going to get to the point where I'm going to wonder, should I have sold cards before the 1DEC listing fee, or should I sell cards after the 1DEC listing fee? But what I do know is that most of my land is most likely going to be in an earthly region. So I should make a focus on leveling up earth cards. But then I don't have enough of a lot of earth cards to actually do something consequential with them. So it's back over to peak monsters, because peak monsters is just easier to organize my enormous collection with. Let me clear all of these filters, except I want to look at Green Splinter. So I have 13 and 11 of these, which are untamed cards, and they all seem to be single BCX, which are not going to be all that useful. So I think these need to get listed. Biceratops can go goodbye as well. Goblin Thief is all single BCX there as well. So that can go goodbye. What I don't want to look at is locked cards. So I want to look at no to locked. Alright, so that would see that disappear, that disappear, that disappear. Because they're just untamed common cards. There's 2 Unicorn Mustangs there at a single BCX. They can go away. I want to keep the Summoners. Child of the Forest, 2 loose BCX. These Sporcerers, I don't know, I think I might want to keep them. They're epic cards. They could be useful in terms of collection power. Maybe the Goblin Dartling is not so useful for me because I'm never going to get that up to 60 BCX, let alone 400. So this is just me ruthlessly culling cards right now. Stuff that I'm probably not going to keep. My Silic Morphoid is 512 or 512 BCX though. So I should probably max out that card. So I've got another max level example to circulate. Venari Scout is Venari Scout. Hill Giant is current edition. Goblin Psychic is awesome. Slipspawn is awesome. Periton is awesome. This my Silic Infantry is probably something on the cutting board. Grund stays around. And I'm not necessarily saying that I'm going to sell these. I might just put these into a list and suggest to myself that these are cards that may not be as useful to me. At least that's where my brain is wandering right now. Anything Rift Watches I value very highly. So that's my Earth collection. That's like 151 cards. About fire. It's a single BCX Serpentine Soldier Alpha. My collection is all over the place. Because I've got diamond level modern cards, but other editions and loose reward cards is just why, oh why, oh why. Yeah, that's only 120 collection power, so don't feel like that's going to be all that useful. Kobold Bruiser is of Untamed. Magma Troll. Because the other thing is, I know I'm going to need an enormous amount of DEC to look after my lands. But at the same time, I'm not going to have enough cards to look after my lands. So it's this enormous, constant, revolving catch-22. But if I'm never going to play the cards, it's kind of... why? Why not pass them on and let someone else use them? I think that's a pretty logical thing. And there's always time to go through and consolidate a collection. Sherlock Minotaur is actually a pretty nice card. It's a pity I never maxed it. Lava Launch is really nice too. so many nice cards. I don't play Fire Splinter nearly enough. No, I do not. Okay, so that takes us to 315 cards. Now, Water Splinter. Water Splinter is difficult because I really hate Water Splinter, but they are so gosh darn useful. Oh, there's a loose Kraken. That seems valuable. It's the Wave Runner. Got a max level Kelp Initiate already. Vera is difficult to hang on to, but also, yeah. The bad about Splinterlands is there's no real details on the future. The good about Splinterlands, there's no real good details on the future. It works both ways. Frostline is a card that I've never used in my life. Demented Shark. I don't have 100 BCX to get it up to Thorns, which makes it pretty useless for me. And at 30 cents a pop, that's too expensive for my tastes. These are the constant sacrifices that I've got to make. The only thing we really know for certain is that Rebellion is coming and Tower Defense is coming. That's pretty much it. And, you know, land. The whole when land meme. That when land meme is something that is overwhelming and constant. Is that 11 loose? Runemancer Kai's? I could make a max level Runemancer Kai out of that. Then I would have 2 max level Runemancer Kai's. That seems like a great idea. What about Life Splinter? I've already collected 417 cards. A loose Crystal Werewolf, X1. 7 Cave Slugs. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if it's a good idea to offload these cards. It kind of feels like a good idea to offload these cards, but at the same time it feels like a bad idea to offload these cards because everything here is out of print. Unless, of course, I sell these cards and go back to the market with the proceeds and then buy stuff that equals more BCX or more collection power, because collection power is what's going to be important. So that's 6,510 collection power. If I propose to sell that, is it going to show me a total? Now let's go relative price, -2 below the market. Review that. It's not telling me the total market value anywhere there. No. See, this is where tools like Peak Monsters fall a little bit short, because it would be lovely to have a total market value down the bottom here to tell me what that potential sale of those cards would be worth. Hey, Kira. You know, and they potentially wouldn't sell instantaneously either. You know, whale problems right now. But that's the thing. I could just transfer them to another one of my accounts and see how much they're worth there. But that's a waste of resource credits, right? So instead, lists, create list. Actually, no, that's a way I can do sell, maybe, question mark. Yes, I'm typing the words question mark, because that's the sort of person I am. Where's my scroll bar? I can't see my scroll bar. It's fine. So if we create that as a list, and we go sell maybe question mark. And we clear all of our filters. So that's only $98 worth of cards. So if I go to buy, and we want to do the compare by, I want best collection power to cost ratio. So 1 USD would get me 757 collection power if I bought Jin Renovas. Which would be significantly more because it was $98 times 757. So I would go from 6,500 collection power to about 75,000 collection power if I bought. If I sold those loosey-goosey cards and went and bought the most cost-effective collection power booster, Jin Renova, off the market. But then the question is, will Jin Renova be able to work on my land? That's the unknown. And that's the big question. Because my land is over here in region 40. I have 101 plots in region 40 and then 2 plots in region 42, which looks awfully green to me. Yeah, and we don't know what collection power converts to SPS staking and a whole bunch of other different things. I mean, I'm not too worried about SPS staking because I've staked every single SPS I've ever gotten, ever. So there's my SPS screen. You guys can read. I don't know where I am on the SPS leaderboard these days, but I'm going to go check now. Top hodlers. Where am I for total SPS? I'm 127th. So I'm not the most enormous. I'm not the biggest whale in the cage. Having said that, who can I overtake next? If it is indeed possible for me to overtake anyone. It's 10,000 SPS until the next person on the leaderboard. I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon. I don't know, Max. The maths is too hard for me to do. It'll happen at some point, I'm sure. But yeah. Oh yeah, I haven't looked to see if there's any new proposals. Because it's been a week. Yes, I've already upvoted the land starter packages. What about on Peak Monsters for those community proposals? Is there anything new? Have I ever taken something out of game? Yes. I used to have a full alpha and beta set of creatures. I actually had 2 full alpha sets. I sold them years ago because I started playing Splinterlands back when Splinterlands was in alpha. I sold all of my cards, everything. Had no cards at all, and ended up buying a whole bunch of photographic equipment so that I could reinvigorate my photography passion because I studied photography at university. And then I was like, man, I miss Splinterlands. So I got back into Splinterlands about halfway through Untamed. Maybe a little bit less than halfway through Untamed. Rebought a whole bunch of alpha, rebuilt a whole bunch of reward cards, maxed out my Untamed set, didn't max out dice, maxed out Chaos Legion, maxed out Rift Watchers, got land, got my tract, and the tract pre-sale. So yeah, there's been a lot of ins and outs of the Splinterlands world for me. But the one thing that I've learned along the way is I've always sort of looked at cards and gone, no, that's too expensive for me. It's too expensive for me. And then looked at them later on and gone, oh, that was really cheap back then. But this is the first time in Splinterlands history where I've looked at stuff and gone, that looks cheap. Maybe I'll buy that. Which is weird, but it's not the life of a whale. I do have a day job. I do work a full-time job. Splinterlands does not put food on my table by any means at all. It is not a full-time job. It is not a job. I play the game for fun. The market mechanics and all of the other stuff around it is just an extension of that fun, because I'm a demented individual who thinks that numbers are fun. And they are fun. You just need to look at them enough to convince yourself. Okay, numbers are just Stockholm Syndrome. That's what I'll say. If you look at numbers long enough and you look at tables and spreadsheets and data, you get Stockholm Syndrome and fall in love with your captor. But truly, you're just a prisoner. You're absolutely and truly a prisoner. I don't know if you guys have used Splinter.fi when I was talking earlier about some of the features that Pig Monsters could do with. Buying Oceanus at $25, that's something, yeah. Yeah, buying Oceanus at all, I think, is something. Let's see if this website is going to refresh. It's taken its time. It's probably because I've got so many cards on this account right now. How many cards do I have on my Holozor account right now? Yeah, that'd be why. 12,926 cards. It's Splinter.fi. It is one of the other Splinterlands marketplaces, like Peak Monsters, like Monster Market, like I forget the name of the other one. I just use Peak Monsters and Monster Market, to be honest, as well as the in-game market. If I go to the market, it might tell me the name of the other ones. Yeah, Card Auctions and Splex. Yeah, Splinterfy is just another one that doesn't have this in-game banner associated to it, but it works much like all the other interfaces, except apparently it doesn't want to load for my big main account. Let's try again. Signed in successfully. It might load eventually. It's just because there's too many cards on the account. Pig Monsters handles it quite well though. 12,926 cards. It's too many cards. It's way too many cards. And I've still got a bunch that I need to move over from my other account. And as you can see, by all the orange, Splinterfy, just its interface, I find it more elegant for doing certain things. Let's see if it'll work if I add my HoloZaps account, because it will have significantly less cards on there. Yeah, here we go. The interface is now loading. So I can see my HoloZaps account. The market is listed, but I think the website is just being generally buggy. It's not actually loading the content right now, but so it's similar filtering to what Peak Monsters has, but the market listing once you've actually got your collection loaded, it'll have in your collection what's on the market. There's tabs on the top that will educate you. How many cards are left over here? 1841 cards, 28,000 BCX. So what is over here? See, this is the other problem that I've got. Yeah, filters on the left side is also less movement of the mouse. I like that function as well. I wish you could swap that on peak monsters. There's a whole bunch of wood nymphs, a couple of screeching vultures, parasitic growth, barking spider, a whole bunch of nectar queens, a couple of deceivers, a whole bunch of lions. See, this is my problem. Too many cards. Too many cards to the point of I don't even know what's in my collection anymore. This is indeed, you know, listen to the whale cry. But hopefully with land it becomes a lot easier to manage. Maybe I'm just going to wait for land and throw all of my monsters at my land. I really hope that it's not going to be, you can always just offload those cards. I knew someone was going to say that first. And most of these cards are still coming off of their rentals. So for rent, no. Delegated, no. So I've got 90 cards that I can throw at my main account right now. Oh, there's a lot more Wizards of Eastwoods. I should probably wait for everything to come off rent first. There's a Max Oceanus, talking of Oceanus, as we were earlier. And there's a whole bunch more Gargoyle Lions. I didn't realize I had that many gold foil Tinderlocks. See, these are the problems. Yeah, that's sort of what I'm considering now. Diamonds Not Daemons is, do I try and sell a whole bunch of these before the 1 DEC listing fee? Because when it's, you know, tens of thousands of cards, quite literally, 10,000 DEC is a pretty significant chunk of listing costs. Particularly when DEC is not a peg. 1 DEC per card is a lot of cost, opportunity cost, that is. Doing it now versus doing it later. Will card prices go up? Will card prices go down? Nobody knows. No one knows anything about this stuff, which is what makes it fun to some extent. But also, it's kind of like, do I want to sell some of this excess so I've got some funds available for Rebellion? Because I don't have real world money to throw into the game at the moment, to just buy Rebellion with cash, because that's what I did with Untamed. It's what I did with Chaos Legion. It's what I did with Rift Watchers to some extent as well. I just threw cash at it, as opposed to seriously looking at my collection and going, what do I need? What do I not need? What do I use? What do I not use? And having made that decision this morning to be like, okay, cool. I'm not going to rent my cards anymore. I'm going to either A, look for scholars, or B, do other bits and pieces with those excess cards instead. So it sort of feels like it's going to take a while for me to actually understand what's useful in my collection and what can be sort of deconstructed into decks. And who knows, I might create another account and just play some like low-level bronze and silver, maybe Gold League with gold foils, if I've got enough in my collection to support that. The problem is I don't know if I've got enough in my collection to support that. But that's pretty much it for me today. Thank you for hanging out. Thanks for participating in FOMO as always. I've been Holazor, and you have a wonderful existence, and I'll see you all next time. Cheers.